It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. I got an email this morning from Mary Francis in Torrance saying, "Hey, John and Randy, please consider tuning in to this morning's board meeting for the LA County Board of Supervisors. Agenda item 6 has caused a great deal of concern for the residents of Torrance. Many of us will be attending the meeting in person, and there have been quite a few online public comments as well. To summarize, LA County and the Weingart Foundation have agendized an item to apply for state funding for Project Homekey Plus. One of their proposed sites is a hotel in Torrance, which they wish to use as housing for the homeless and the mentally ill. This was done without the knowledge or consent of Torrance city officials or residents. We only learned about this when the agenda was published online. Torrance City Council held an emergency meeting on Friday night. The council members and Mayor Chen all unanimously are against this proposal." So I happened to tune in throughout the day to see when they were going to get to this agenda item. And what do you know? They're actually talking about it right now. And I've recorded as much of it as I can because the meeting's still going on. But they're proposing a whole bunch of different sites for Project Homekey. And one of them is in Torrance, in an area that was not informed that this would happen. This drastically changes the nature of a neighborhood. And I'm sure, in fact, I'd love to hear from right now, as I'll play you some of the sound of the concerned Torrance residents and the Board of Supervisors, who doesn't seem to care. If you happen to live in an area near, whether it's Project Room Key, Project Home Key, Project Inside Safe, if you live near a hotel or motel that was converted into a homeless shelter, what's that been like? Tell us your experiences. What have you seen? What have you heard? 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. The phone lines are also open for any resident of Torrance that wants to express their concerns about this project that is being shoved down their throats with no input from the city. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. Let's see how much of Hilda Solis talking about how great these programs are I can take before I have to move on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam Chair, for allowing me to speak. And Supervisor Hahn, thank you for holding this item, because I know as well that these are very important homekey projects that have been able to help provide and uplift over 300 individuals in my own district alone. And I'm happy to see Kevin Murray here because he's operated 2 of those in Baldwin Park. And I'm sure you'll speak later about that. But we have already the first 3 rounds of Homekey. The first district had welcomed 6 projects, including the unincorporated areas of Hacienda Heights, Baldwin Park, a city, and 2 in the city, and the city of Los Angeles.
Everyone's getting some crappy homeless shelters in their neighborhoods.
2 of those in Baldwin Park, and I'm sure you'll see the city of Los Angeles. In total, this is nearly 300 units of permanent supportive housing and 100 units of interim housing in the first district.
Hey, what does permanent supportive housing mean? Does that mean these people never, ever, ever, ever leave that housing? How exactly does this work?
So we are taking a big leap here. But what is most important to me is that we talk a lot about transitional age youth and helping our young people.
Okay, I'm moving on from Hilda because she's saying nothing that's important. Let's hear from some members of the public and see what they have to say, the ones that called in to the Board of Supervisors meeting and the ones that showed up, including members of the City Council of Torrance and the Mayor of Torrance, who I love the fact that to get Janice Hahn on the phone and to get the supervisors on the phone, he has to show up and he's got a minute to speak his piece like the rest of the members of the public.
Well, the following individuals.
Good afternoon. My name is...
Okay, where is this first one? Okay.
Jones, Ram Shaparian, and Edward Apodaca, George Chen, and Helen
with the potential.
Okay, here it is. I just recorded this thing.
Good afternoon. My name is Amy Wang. I'm a resident nearby the Torrance City. I oppose the plan to turn the extended stay American hotel on Torrance Boulevard into homeless housing. I I care about the helping the homeless, but this location is not suitable. The reason is first, it's too close to the Mandarin Middle School.
Yeah, is that really the greatest idea? The places of a lot of these hotels and motels that they want to convert into homeless shelters, housing some people that are sex offenders, is placing them towards schools, placing them next to schools. Is this really the smartest idea? And I'm sure someone will call in and say, why don't we just have some big central location? I honestly don't know why. I don't know why. I honestly, because there's some kind of grift here going on. And one of the callers actually explained what the grift is. I'll find that sound.
Which less than 10 minutes walk away. Children's safety is our top concern. Second,
imagine if you buy into a neighborhood, you're locked in, and you find out that 2 streets over, they're deciding to convert a hotel into a homeless shelter. Imagine what that does to your quality of life.
Good afternoon, chair, members of the board. My name is Christina Arneson Cabrera. I am a Torrance resident strongly opposing the hotel conversion plan. This site is surrounded by schools, parks, after-school programs, residential homes, and a major shopping center. Placing permanent supportive housing here threatens public safety, congestion, and the family-friendly character of our city. Torrance is a destination.
By the way, can you imagine the traffic that these residents had to deal with to get to downtown Los Angeles on a Tuesday afternoon from the South Bay? Oh my goodness.
Torrance.
That shows the dedication and how underhanded all this is, because there was no where was the town hall? Where was the talking to the community or even talking to the mayor and the city council about this project?
Torrance is a destination known for its beaches and retail with the second largest mall in the state. This project risks hurting our city's revenue, tourism, hotel bookings, and our city's reputation. We already have a 40-unit homeless shelter nearby. Adding another shelter so close would saturate the area and cause undue strain on our police, fire, and emergency services, which are already stretched thin. It should be.
At what point is enough enough?
It should be noted that Los Angeles County has already spent over $550 million on Project Homekey. More than 70% of your units still remain vacant.
This is true. Because of the bureaucratic insanity, they keep buying up all of these hotels and motels, and I'm sure whoever is selling them is making a whole mint on this, because some of these are getting bought by these big real estate companies like Blackstone, and then they're selling them to the local governments for way more than they paid for, because we're getting, as Tracy Park put it so eloquently, we are price gouging ourselves.
This indicates significant underutilization of current resources and questions the efficacy of expanding the program without addressing existing issues you already have.
Why buy more hotels if you're not filling the ones that you already have? Why are you destroying the neighborhoods in the sense that you're going to help the homeless when, again, these programs have had a almost non-existent impact on the problem in LA County and statewide?
Fiscally irresponsible.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Oh, yeah, they cut people off after a minute. Doesn't matter who you are.
Good afternoon, supervisors. I'm Adam Chaparian, Torrance City Manager. We propose the following collaboration.
The city manager has to drive all the way up to the LA County Board of Supervisors meeting and doesn't get to speak at the hearing. No, has to talk in public comment.
Good afternoon, supervisors. I'm Adam Chaparian, Torrance City Manager. We propose the following collaboration approach moving forward. First, joint site selection process. Establish a working group including city council representatives, county staff, and community stakeholders. Evaluate multiple sites using agreed upon criteria. Consider sites that complement rather than concentrate existing services. Enhance service integration. Our experience shows challenges with high employee turnover rate in this industry.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The people that they hire to work in these places, the conditions are so bleak because, of course, we allow drug use. We don't kick anybody out. So there are some days where there's a body bag. The only way you get a vacancy in some of these rooms is through a body bag because people overdose in these places. And no one wants to work there because you don't make a whole lot of money. The people who are in charge of the project make a whole lot of money. The person who's selling the property to the county makes a whole lot of money. The nonprofit that is charged with doing the services at the hotel makes a lot of money, but the person on the ground that's actually the social worker to do this, they can't quit fast enough. We saw this in Long Beach, and we're seeing it everywhere else, including in Torrance.
We need a comprehensive plan for addressing the systematic issues. Coordinate the existing harbor interface service operation in our tiny home village. Despite our concerns about this specific proposal, the City of Torrance remains committed partners in addressing homelessness. We have demonstrated our commitment through our tiny home village. We support the goals of the HomeKey Plus program in providing permanent supportive housing, and we request genuine collaboration to find solutions that work for both local community and the broader region.
And they're really trying to play ball here. Hey, this location doesn't work for anybody. Can we find a location that does? But that's not what happens with HomeKey and all of these grants that come down from the state because, of course, this is all the original vision of Gavin Newsom, the godfather of the idea of permanent supportive housing, something he championed in San Francisco when he was the mayor 20 years ago.
We ask the county to pause the specific Torrance location and remove from pending HomeKey application. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Let's see who's next here. These are members of the public as well as members of the Torrance City Council that went all the way up to L.A., downtown L.A., to the Board of Supervisors meeting to voice their opposition to a Project HomeKey site at a hotel that none of them were told about until they're applying for the grant funding.
Good afternoon. My name is Assam Sheikh. I am a council member for the district that this project is being presented. I really sincerely appreciate the cooperation, the understanding between the LA County, especially Supervisor Janice Hahn, for partnership with the City of Torrance.
You can butter up Janice all you want. I don't know if it's going to help.
The 3290 project, the 3290 temporary housing village is a success. The reason it is a successful project because of the collaboration, the community involvement, and their feedback to this project. However, to the contrary, the collaboration that we had in 3290, in this time, there's no collaboration. There is no feedback from community, from stakeholders, which is very critical. If you want this project to be successful, please give opportunity to the stakeholders, the community, the city leaders to work with you. There has to be willingness. If there's no willingness, the money cannot make this program successful. Please table this. Please bring this back.
Oh, of course, he gets cut off. Why don't you let him just finish his statement? He was wrapping up. They've got note cards. They're trying to time this to a minute, but no. These are members of the public as well as members of the Torrance City Council, and we'll get to the mayor as well, begging the LA County Board of Supervisors not to move forward with this Project HomeKey site and an extended stay motel that is near a school and a whole bunch of other things that people do not want.
Good afternoon, Board. My name is Dennis Feitosa, and I oppose the HomeKey housing initiative. Our state and county have spent hundreds of millions on motel conversions and housing contracts, but look at what's happened so far. Step Up, Shangri-La Industries got $114 million in state funds. Now several properties sit empty and unfinished, and the Attorney General is suing them for fraud. That's not housing the homeless, that's a grift. And let's talk about what's actually causing the homeless crisis for a second. Democrats say it's a housing crisis, but they're misleading the public. I've been volunteering for over a week in Skid Row, for over a year, every week in Skid Row. I talk to people. What we have is a mental health crisis and a drug crisis. The narrative about housing shortage is just cover used by Democrat Party bosses to funnel tax dollars to their developer friends and political allies.
He's 100% right about that.
Where's the accountability? Where are the audits? How many more failed projects before someone tells the truth? You're failing Angelenos and our most vulnerable. Our people need better leadership. Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Next speaker.
That guy was great. These are outraged members of the public who are doing the only thing they can at this point and trying to get their voice heard at public comment. So I'm here to amplify it because the LA County Board of Supervisors wanted to do this in the dead of night, not have a hearing, and not even let Torrance know that this was a project they were considering for the failed Project HomeKey, which, as we have heard, several of the units of the motels they already own are vacant. These programs are failures, and a lot of them are kickbacks to very, 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 very successful companies like Blackstone. We'll continue with this sound, but I do want to hear from you. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. If you're in Torrance, if this is the first time you're hearing about this project, give me a call. If you went to that meeting today, give me a call. And if you happen to have one of these Project HomeKey, Inside Safe projects in your neighborhood, what is that like? What is your experience? What are the residents of Torrance in for? 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. We'll get to more of this sound. We'll get to more of your calls. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. The LA County Board of Supervisors decided that they have found their next site to apply for grants for Project Homekey, Gavin Newsom's program to convert hotels and motels into permanent supportive housing for the homeless. This latest site is in Torrance at an extended stay motel that's near a school. The city wasn't informed about this, not the city council, not the mayor, not the public. They were all going to vote on this in the dead of night. They found out it was on the agenda just a few days ago. Residents showed up to voice their opposition. Will it matter? Probably not. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. If you have a Project Homekey, Room Key, Inside Safe, one of these nonsensical programs, a converted motel, hotel in your neighborhood, what's that been like? 800-222-KABC. And if you're in Torrance and you want to react to what the Board of Supervisors is doing today, give us a call, 800-222-KABC. Let's start with Eric in L.A. Eric, hello.
Hey guys, this is Gary. Is this Eric? Yeah. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
You're on the air.
Hey, it's a great subject you guys got going on. When somebody tells you that you can't kick out your tenants and that it's okay for them to bring other people on, why would I want to rent out my units so that I can have more people that aren't going to pay the rent in the near future, and also bring on more people when somebody could stand up, like Karen Bass, or somebody pass down a rule saying, hey, you don't pay, you got 18 days. Your will be outside, and that's the way it's going to be.
Make sure we dump that.
We can.
Thanks for the call, Eric. Appreciate it. Appreciate the passion. And yes, we make life a living hell for landlords in the city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles. But certain words you can't say on the radio. Let's continue with the public comment at the LA County Board of Supervisors meeting. We heard the guy that called this a grift, right?
The failing Angelinos and our most vulnerable. Our people need better leadership. Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Please lift your hands if you're in support.
Good.
Hilda Solis doesn't want people applauding when someone says something of common sense at the Board of Supervisors meeting because it happens so rarely.
Good afternoon, Supervisors. George Chen, Mayor, City of Torrance. Since 2021, the elected officials and residents of Torrance have taken leadership in directly addressing homelessness by creating a street outreach program and 4 budgeted coordinators and a 40-unit interim housing site known as 3298. I want to begin by expressing Torrance's sincere appreciation for the county's partnership and support of our programs. This collaboration demonstrates that we can accomplish together much when we balance housing needs with thoughtful community integration. In fact, since we started tracking our programs in July 2022 through 2 programs, we have permanently housed 84 individuals, outreach over 1,100 individuals, and clear of 52 encampments. Our programs have been overwhelmingly embraced by the community because they are the appropriate scale for our city and address the needs of all segments of our community. We request that you work with us as a willing partner for the City of Torrance to explore alternatives and deny and delay this.
That's right. They cut off the mayor of Torrance. Even he gets only 60 seconds to speak in opposition to this Project Homekey site. It's just disgusting what goes on out there. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. The LA County Board of Supervisors wants to drive down the throats of Torrance residents even more unsuccessful homeless housing. Homeless housing, these converted motels that they don't even have filled up the ones they already have. But if we can get state grant money, who cares if we're going to destroy a neighborhood for it? 800-222-KABC is the phone number. If you live in Torrance, I want to hear from you. If you live in the South Bay, and if you live anywhere in LA County and you've had to deal with these Project Homekey sites in your neighborhood, how has it changed your neighborhood? Give me a call, 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. We'll take more of your calls, and we'll hear more from the public comment at this Board of Supervisors meeting. Next, it's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
The outcry. And also, this is not a homeless shelter, but halfway houses in residential areas. There was a halfway house in a single-family home neighborhood in Irvine where there was a stabbing. So this puts the community at risk. And if this is something that the Board of Supervisors is pushing on Torrance, I know with Irvine, it has to go through city approval, so the city manager has to sign off on it. I don't know how it works with Torrance, but there should be some signature that prevents the site from the homeless shelter from being built. There's a city approval. It's just the residents and the city council for Torrance would have to be on the same page.
Well, it should work that way, but according to the city council and the mayor, it's not. They weren't even told about this proposed site. They found out when it was posted on the Board of Supervisors agenda.
Oh my God, they have to look into their policies. There should be a city attorney looking into their options. Hopefully, they're listening to their residents and seeing, or maybe they can benchmark with other cities. I think because Torrance is a separate city versus city of Los Angeles, or board of the LA County Board of Supervisors, there has to be some option out there, or some regulation. I believe halfway houses, there have to be a certain distance from a school. So hopefully they're looking into this a little bit more carefully.
Well, this is the problem that we're having. Gavin Newsom's rules and regulations have pretty much eliminated local control over zoning, because if you say you're not building enough homeless housing or affordable housing, they take away your ability to do any zoning. So this is another one of these top-down programs where there is no local input, because how dare you have local input? You're just a NIMBY. Well, I think there are very legitimate reasons that people don't want this in their neighborhood. Instead of maybe converting hotels and motels, we convert a defunct hospital and turn it into a giant mental hospital where we can put these people in places where they can get actual care. But we can't do that. We refuse to do that.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. It's so draconian. Taking away the fabric and characteristics of a neighborhood. This is what Newsom is doing. And, if he's publicizing this is going to cost him the election or his shadow campaign that he's running right about now. So it doesn't help. It doesn't bode well for his political ambitions.
Well, and to all the projects that they've had for this, they've been doing homekey since COVID for 5 years now. It has not made a noticeable impact on the problem.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was just 10% of the homeless population went indoors with $875 million LA tax dollars, and more and more tax dollars being spent while the state is completely broke and suing the president, when we're at the federal government's mercy for fire relief money. I mean, this is really not the time to keep pushing for more failures and more failures.
I think you're totally right. And I'm so glad you told me about what happened in Irvine. I can't imagine somebody thinking it's a good idea to put a homeless shelter near one of the shining jewels of Irvine, Great Park.
No, it was insane. I lived down the street from the Great Park. I mean, once you ink that mortgage, that's it. I called the Board of Supervisors. I'm like, I live alone. I planted my, roots in Irvine. Now you're going to put a homeless shelter down my street and put us the person on the other line. I guess I got lucky. I got someone or a deputy supervisor, somebody who was listening. Because a day or two later, between my call and the residents, working really hard to protest, they did away with that. And Irvine, we want to maintain our statistic as one of the safest cities in the U.S. So we got very lucky that. I feel my hometown is Los Angeles, but I do feel blessed to live in the OC. Really wish Los Angeles County would benchmark with Orange County on how they run things, because there's clearly a difference between the two counties, and LA County issues impact.
There's a massive difference in how the counties are run, and evidence is this. City of Irvine is one of the biggest pieces of evidence right there. It is the safest city in the United States, and it is not in Los Angeles County.
Absolutely. It's definitely really happy living here, and I just hope the voters, that at the end of the day, voters need each vote counts. Go through your ballots, look at the policies and platforms that each person stands for. Follow the socials on your city council. I have everything on my feeds to see what the activities are of the council. Look at the agendas. So people just need to engage in their local communities to make sure their cities are moving in the right direction.
I love that. I love everything you said there. Thank you so much for the call, Monica. It's great talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, what she said is so important, and you see it. You see voter turnout much higher in Orange County than in Los Angeles County by double digits sometimes in these elections because people are paying more attention. And if you're paying more attention, you can't get away with the god-awful government that we have in a place like Los Angeles County. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Dale in Culver City. Dale, hello.
Hey, Randy, thanks for taking my call. Good to talk to you again. I'm a long time resident of the South Bay area, and Torrance PD, just like Culver City, they do not mess around. The police department here, like during COVID, remember when they were having bands of people rioting everywhere? The police department here put buses and dump trucks in front of all the entrances. And so I think that if they have some kind of craziness going on here, that the police department they're not going to put up with any junk in public. They're not going to put up with any parking, craziness or people after loitering after curfew. I don't think that they're going to have a very good time if they try to stay here in Torrance.
The residents are making their voice heard, and they're going to make them uncomfortable. And you know what? Janice Hahn I think this is her last term, but we have to start looking at these elections where if you support this status quo of all of this money going towards programs that do not work, that drastically change neighborhoods, not for the positive, then you gots to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Newsom is just trying to punish people that are doing the right thing. Look what, they were trying to do to Orange County, for Huntington Beach for not building extra homeless places.
It's crazy. And you look at Huntington Beach, it's a very well-run city. It's a very safe city. And they don't have places like that in Orange County don't have the homeless problem that we have in a place like Los Angeles. Gavin Newsom never wants to criticize the LA County Board of Supervisors or Karen Bass when the majority of the problem that is going to destroy his presidential ambitions comes from LA County.
Yeah, and like Culver City and Torrance are both really well-run cities.
Torrance is great. I love Torrance. I love the South Bay. One day, if I'm going to stay in LA County, which I really don't want to, I would move to the South Bay if I could afford it. I love it down there.
Yeah, it's a little pricey.
Well, there's a reason. Well, Dale, thank you so much for the call, buddy. Appreciate it.
God bless you, brother.
800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. Your reaction to what the LA County Board of Supervisors is trying to do in Torrance by taking yet another hotel that's near a school and converting it into a Project Room Key homeless shelter. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Dave in Whittier. Dave, hello.
Yo, hey, Randy. So what they should be focusing on, this Board of Supervisors, is urging Newsom to fund Prop 36, the rehab part of it. And the thing is that I've seen these hotels, and oh my gosh. The thing is, here's an answer. Back in 2008, shortly after the presidential election, an article came out in USA Today saying on the headline news, negative campaigning works. $10 billion spent in the presidential campaign, and most of it was negative campaigning. And who did all the negative campaigning? It was Barack Obama. So that's a lesson against these supervisors. We need to negative campaign this stuff focused when it comes around for their elections, and that's it. You know, get some men on this board of supervisors. They're all women, soft, NIMBY, just ridiculous, silly left-wing women who are just out of control.
I think we definitely need some balance on that board. And I think the litmus test has to be if they want to continue the status quo of these projects that do not work, that are literal dumpster fires, and that have not solved the problem and are just making neighborhoods worse. Dave, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's see if we can squeeze in a couple more of these public comments that were really good about the LA County Board of Supervisors and their plan to turn a hotel into yet another Project Homekey homeless shelter in Torrance.
John Pata, your line is open. You may begin.
I'm here to oppose the corrupt plan to convert this hotel into a homeless facility. Let's call this what it is. It's a scam. You know, Blackstone bought this property for under $10 million in 2021, and now they want to flip it for $55 million to the state. Okay, this is not about homeless.
That is a grift right there.
Okay, this is not about homeless. It's a cash grab. Homelessness has become a $1 billion racket for developers and insiders. This is a fraud, blatant, shameless fraud. This isn't just irresponsible, it's dangerous. You're putting women, children, and elderly at risk for profit. This is not a rundown location. It's a very nice location close to children's school and parks and elderly homes.
No, but of course, that's the perfect place to put a homeless shelter. Oh, my goodness. Let's go back to the in-person public comments.
Roseanne Jacobson, I was born in Torrance, and I've been a resident for over 60 years. And I've worked hard for everything I've earned. I'm sensitive to the needs of persons that do not have a home, but the Board of Supervisors is shameful in its approach to this last-minute rushed government-forced project at Torrance Boulevard. It shows that you do not have regard for the citizens of your district, and it's not a good fit in that location. Janice Hahn and her staff need to honor the commitment to work with her constituents and not only with the developer of a government ramrodded project where government payouts are involved. The very fabric of our over 100-year-old community is at stake. LA County has incentivized homelessness and even offered free cell phones and instructions on how to be homeless, and it has now become the homeless industry.
She's totally right about that. Now I want to play you this last person that spoke. That was the one that I heard while on a hike today that was like, oh, we got to talk about this today.
Good afternoon. My name is Luann Rosevier, and I live on Opal Street, so I am representing Opal Street, 1 block south of Torrance Boulevard. And so we live pretty close to the 3290 transient temporary housing, which is next to the children's soccer field, which is next to the library and the police department. Is this too loud? And so down our street, we see the homeless coming all the time, and we want to help them. But this location, whoever thought of this location, stupid. I mean,
Can you please hold your applause?
Oh, Hilda, shut the hell up.
Can you please hold your applause and just raise your hands if you agree? Because that's your second notice here, okay? Thank you. Continue.
You get that? I oppose it. But let me just tell you what happens on my street. They come down, they're half nude, they're talking, they're cursing, the arms are flailing, mentally ill, we have to cross over. The woman walking her dog says a homeless person has a knife. Did you call the police? No, we called the police. It was a stick that looked like a knife. When I have my grandson and I see someone riding a bike and his butt show.
Thank you. Next speaker.
How dare you cut her off? She was on a roll. That's what they want to bring to Torrance. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.